look at Capitol Hill, where the fight for control of Congress is already driving record campaign spending across the country. So in the Texas Senate race, new fundraising numbers show James Tallarico bringing in a whopping $30 million, far outpacing his Republican opponent, Ken Paxton, in what is becoming one of the most expensive Senate races in the country. News Nation national correspondent Xavier Walton joins me now with more on this. Xavier, is Texas actually becoming a $30 million toss-up?
Marky, good morning. Yeah, that's an expensive coin toss, right? Well, Democrats, they certainly hope so. Here in Texas, James Tallarico is trying to turn a record bank account into actual votes come November. Tallarico's campaign says it raised more than $30 million, as you just mentioned, from April to June. Ken Paxton's campaign reported just over $9 million, a personal record for him, but still, you know, as you mentioned earlier, less than 1/3 of Tallarico's total. So the Democrats' haul is more than Beto O'Rourke and Colin Allred raised during the same periods of their Texas Senate campaigns combined. It also comes as Tallarico is already spending millions to introduce himself to voters, including ads during the World Cup and flooding social media with fundraising ads on YouTube and on Facebook.
$5. That's how much I'm hoping you'll contribute to our campaign to take back Texas. $5 to defeat the billionaire mega donors and their puppet politicians who are trying to defeat our movement.
To the flip side, Paxton now rebuilding after an expensive Republican primary with Senate Majority Leader John Thune, expected to help him raise money later this month. The Republicans, you know, they still have access to deep-pocketed outside groups, meaning Tallarico's early advantage, it really could disappear ahead of November. Money can buy a lot of airtime, but you know, it can't necessarily buy a Texas Democrat a win. The party has not won a statewide race in more than 3 decades.
Yeah, we'll have to stay on top of that, see what happens next in that race, because all eyes across the country are on that one, Tallarico against Paxton. What about Michigan, though? The candidates there, they're not just fighting over who has the most money, they're also fighting over where that cash even comes from, Xavier.
Yeah, it's interesting, huh? Marky, Michigan is home to another closely watched Senate race as, you know, 2 Democrats battle for their party's nomination. But it's a tight race between Congressman Haley Stevens and former Detroit Health Director Abdul El-Sayed. El-Sayed has, you know, rejected corporate PAC money and is hammering Stevens over support from PACs and outside groups. Stevens argues, you know, she has the experience and general election record to keep the critical seat in Democrats' hands. However, the argument, it's unfolding as Michigan lawmakers and activists sort of push for, you know, several proposals to limit corporate political influence and also require more disclosure. One proposal, I should say, from the group, Michiganders for money out of politics, but effectively ban big corporations from spending all that money on state races, Marky.
Xavier, thank you. For more on this, let me bring in former Republican National Committee Chair Ronna McDaniel. Ronna, happy Friday morning to you. You know, it feels like we're in this new age of politics where every race is the most expensive we've ever seen. And, you know, this candidate has raised more than anybody who's ever come before him or her. Is this just the new age? We're raising $30 million in a pretty short amount of time is the new normal? And how much does a war chest actually matter today?
Well, you're exactly right, Marky. It's getting more and more expensive. They're raising so much money, but there is only so much TV time. There is only so much runway for a message to get across. And if you talk about states like Texas, as you were just talking about, remember Beto O'Rourke, he had one of the biggest war chests in history and still fell short against Ted Cruz. So I think Texas is a long shot for the Democrats, but with Maine narrowing, that is part of their only path to take back the Senate. So, of course, they're going to spend a lot of money. The other thing is the map has shrunk, especially on the House side. We have less House seats that are in play with the redistricting battle. So more money is definitely going to be spent in all these races across the country this year.
Yeah, you bring up Beto O'Rourke. You know, I've lived in Texas for a long time. My family still lives there. You watch people like Beto O'Rourke or Colin Allred come forward with these massive war chests, and then they just get wiped, you know, at the end of the day. Talk to me about James Tallarico, though. You know, shattering these records, and he seems to be doing it with all these smaller contributions, you know, $5 here and there from all these individual donors. Are you worried that Ken Paxton could end Republicans' 32-year win streak in the Lone Star State, or no?
Like you just said, like we just heard, Democrat hasn't won statewide in 3 decades. Beto O'Rourke was this, phoenix rising, and he fluttered. And I think Tallarico is going to be the same. He has a lot of bad stances, specifically saying that God is binary. Things that he has said that are going to come out in the general that I think are going to hurt him with those Texas voters.
And then I also asked Xavier about Michigan, too, so I wanted your 2 cents there. Michigan Democrats are brawling over who their donors even are, where their money is coming from. What kind of message does that infighting send to voters?
Michigan Democrats are in a huge battle for the Senate race. I live in Michigan. There is so much money being spent right now against El Said from the Democrat establishment wing. They do not want him. He is a Mamdani-style candidate. He is a socialist. He is rising in their party. They just got a 3rd candidate out of this race to try and consolidate around Haley Stevens, because they are doing everything they can to knock El Said out of this race. They do not want him to be the nominee for their party. We have Mike Rogers, who is a fantastic candidate, former intelligence chair, former congressman, who will do very well. But this is one to watch for sure, because the Democrats very much do not want El Said.
Yeah, and I also wondered, too, how many voters actually care where these candidates are getting their money from. Could I turn you now to Maine? Graham Plattner, the deadline for him to formally end his campaign is 5 p.m. on Monday, and he's reportedly told staff that he'll file the formal paperwork. Do you think there's any chance that he doesn't follow through on that?
I don't. I think he realizes he can't win without money. He is going to need backing. And pretty much the entire Democrat Party has said, we are done with you after these latest allegations. They should have done it sooner. But they finally came around and recognized this is a terrible candidate. He is not a good human being. He should not be running. He should not be in leadership. But it is going to complicate the Dems' chance for a Senate majority, because now they have to start from scratch in a convention. It's going to be very, very difficult to consolidate behind a candidate. Also, with Susan Collins having a $10 million war chest and being an incumbent in a state that she's won many, many times.
And do you think he would really need that money or the establishment support? In that 11-minute video he just posted 2 nights ago at this point, he blames the establishment. He blames establishment media for this happening to him. But, he won his primary with overwhelming support. The thing I keep thinking is, what had happened if he had just stayed in? I mean, would all of his supporters still supported him anyway? I don't know. What say you?
I don't know. I think with these latest allegations, they were so serious, these rape allegations. And when you hear the women talk, I think it would be very hard for him to stay in, and I think he would have lost support. That being said, it is going to be hard to get his voters, his core supporters, like you said. He has a movement that has started. Are they going to consolidate around that Democrat candidate if they feel like their candidate was unfairly pushed out of the race?
Well, a lot more to come there as well. Ronna McDaniel, I have about 25 other questions for you, but the good news is you're with me throughout the show, so I'll save some for next hour. Thank you, ma'am.